Hey, this is the MC117.
And I am ProjektZero.
We are back with our review of the Vocalist-Producer Competition, Round 3, Fandom at its Finest. In this round, writers were challenged to produce a piece from inside an existing fictional universe of their choice. And not a, wow, I can't believe I was transported here kind of way, but as someone from within that universe. And the producers were challenged to write a instrumental drawing from that universe, sampling or something, perhaps if it was, say, just writing, some sort of novel, something that evoked it, which I think was more of a meta challenge. But I was pretty pleased with the stuff that was created for this round, and we're going to get into it in just a moment. But first, just to recap what we're doing, I'm just going to be strictly focusing my reviews on the vocalist. ProjektZero is going to be focusing on the production side of things. Each of us have a score up to a maximum of 5, and then for our total score, we just take our two and combine them like some sort of robot.
Or a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's a...
Yeah. A robot sandwich.
Open to interpretation.
And as a final reminder, for anyone kind enough to watch all of our reviews, each review video has a phrase that pays. At the end of all 5 rounds, we'll have a submission form where if you put in all 5 of our key phrases, you can win a $20 Amazon gift card as our way of saying thank you for listening to our very pretentious criticism.
And I will drink a beer in your honor. Alright. So like you said, I actually really enjoyed this round. There were a lot of pretty high-quality submissions this time around. But before we jump into sort of picking apart some of the tracks, especially because we have fewer tracks this time around, looked like we had 12 submissions as opposed to like 17 last round, and to be honest with you, I forgot how many we had in the first round, but it's dropped. Yeah. Not so bad. It kind of gives us a little bit more time to jump into these, which is fine. But 2 themes stood out to me in particular this week as I was kind of going through these. The first one was cohesion, which is, every element in a mix I think needs to be there for a reason or sort of serve a purpose. And these are sort of... The fun thing about talking about production is you get to go into like different philosophies of it, because there's a million ways you could do this, right? And a lot of them are equally valid, and some are just up to personal preference. But one thing that kind of struck me a number of times as I was listening to these songs was it felt like a lot of elements in these tracks didn't need to be there, or didn't do anything to sort of further the song, or make it better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It just felt like a lot of fluff this time around. So you're probably going to hear me mention the phrase cohesion a good number of times this round. And the second concept that I kind of wanted to touch on was direction, which is that a track needs to not just evolve over the course of, your 3 or 4 minutes that you're going on, but I feel like it needs to go somewhere. It should kind of end somewhere different than it started, so, and I've always kind of docked points from people if you have a beat that just stays the same, right, for 3 minutes, and even if you have a nice groove, and a lot of these beats have had fantastic grooves, really, really good ones, but if it doesn't go anywhere or do anything in 3 minutes, no matter how nice of like a soundscape you have, it's really hard to give your beat a perfect 5. So I'm going to talk about direction as well this week, and those were kind of 2 themes that stood out to me a lot, so I wanted to take a little bit of time here at the beginning to just harp on those a little bit before we jumped into sort of particular reviews. I don't know if you had anything lyrically.
Yeah, I mean, I've made the same comment for lyrics before. I didn't really have, a good word to put around it. And the idea of cohesion I appreciate, because, if your song Now, we've talked about this before. If your song is 4 or 5 minutes long, I feel like the onus is on you to justify that use of my time.
Sure.
So, if verse 3 is basically just rehashing what you already said in verse 2, there's, I mean, unless you're writing, it's just off the charts.
Freeze frame.
Hey, it's not saying like my time is wasted. It's not that.
Oop. Slight technical difficulties.
Everything belongs there.
There we go. I think we're coming back. We might have lagged out there for a second, 117.
Yeah. Just saying, it's not about whether it's less or whether it's more. It's about whether everything belongs.
Sure. All right.
So we will plow ahead in the face of technical difficulties into our first track. That sounds good.
Yep, we've got Clutch City Chaos with Show Me What You Got, and I'll go ahead and cue that one up for us. And I'll actually go ahead and jump in on this one myself. Let's take a quick look here at my notes. So, wasn't gonna lie, the first thing that kind of grabbed my attention in this beat was the Meeseek sample. That, I don't know how much of a Rick and Morty fan you are, 117. Alright, well, I'm not gonna try and do the Meeseeks noise, but it's that ooh yeah that's in the background. It gets a little annoying, it's mixed a little loud in. One thing I did note though was I think this is the best Clutch City Chaos track that I've heard so far on the VPC. Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure where I stood on kind of how processed they did with like a lot of the quotes from the show. They've run them through like 6 filters, it sounds like. You know, 6 filters and a chorus, and a lot of those processed vocals kind of create some EQ conflicts. And you'll notice, harping back to something I touched on in round 1, there's a lot of mud in this mix. And I think a lot of it's coming from, there's this gated synth that's kind of in the background of the beat. And then you're going to have some of these bassy elements underneath it, and then you have all this post-processing on these vocals, right? And it just created a ton of mud in the mix, but this track had some... I liked it. Everything... Talking about cohesion in a good way on this, everything felt cohesive, it fit together. I liked the use of the show's theme song as sort of the instrumental motif. I loved the use of quotes from the show just scattered all throughout the track. That was like fantastically done, by the way. And then the bridge towards the end, there was this great little organ, which was a good change of pace, but I really wish that bridge did something more interesting. I feel like while I liked the use of the show's theme song, it felt like it could have done more to differentiate itself. Like if you just play the show's theme song like 3 times throughout the track, and then have like a little mini organ breakdown at the end, like you did good. Like it's a well put together beat, right? But I wish you did something to kind of distinguish yourself a little bit more. And yeah, those are my thoughts, you know.
Seasons have come to pass with 987 planets ending with the birth is
sure.
The winner, cause your music is superior with heads bent over and raised up posterior. Put them hands up.
Yeah.
We want the volume on the jams up. Blow your planet up.
For what it's worth, it's great, by the way. But
everybody throw them hands up. We want the volume on the jams up. Or else we gonna blow your planet. And we don't stop.
yeah.
I liked the beat, had a great sound, had a good groove, vocally had great mix-ups. I was just went and I eventually watched.
We've traveled through the galaxy, space,
Yeah.
time, and cosmos. We're trying to find the greatest of minds, and I'm not talking about all of those
Sure.
scientists. So would be lying if I told
Yeah.
you that we've come in pieces are needed a piece for a reach, and creative energy from lower life forms is our system. It's the greatest in the universe, but I must admit that no, the fact of the matter is, oh, we're looking for someone with flow. Now, until it's complete, then we will not go. I better feel the rhythm, better sing, better move, better do it quick. You better make me lose my inhibitions. I've come to party like Tiny Red. I want a track that attacks the mind, that'll crack the spine, that'll kill the nerves. It'll hit so hard that my G's get spliced, and I end up a fright like Cronenberg. You need to rock the mic tonight.
Yeah.
This ain't the Fire Fest. Cut the chords if you don't perform like spring, fall, winter, lose them all if you're not the winner. I've come to feast, turn up the beats, and bring me my dinner. Everybody throw them hands
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
We want the volume on the jams up, or else we gonna
Yeah.
blow your planet up. And we don't stop.
It was a good switch. Like, I had to give it points for creativity. I needed something a little more.
Or else we gonna blow your planet up. And we don't stop.
Sure.
I love it.
Yeah.
Really well constructed.
You object to us, but with all due respect,
Yeah.
we don't care what you have to say.
And with that, I think we can jump ahead to Dangergrove with All Dogs Go to Heaven on Saturday.
Don't need a pen.
Now, I think
Hey, Eli Grove here. Do you like music? Not everybody does.
Well, but
Here at Dangergrove, we only like rap. Music is for the birds, and the birds, well, they're all gonna die soon. If you want to
Yeah.
help us preserve and promote expensive music, head on over to dangerously.bandcamp.com and treat yourself, your best friends, your worst friends, and all the city witches to a copy of the Dangergrove comp.
What happened to the mix?
It's the enemy of music.
yeah.
It will ruin you. And hey,
That
thanks.
was tough.
Yep.
Don't let it, it's almost unlistenable right now.
something wicked this way.
But like, it was so interesting, like it was just so
Something
weird
wicked.
Sure.
Someone
that I
else
couldn't stop
behind
listening.
me.
It reminded me of Hella Fine Now. Like they're
No.
around 5
To danger.
year.
Hello,
Yeah.
this is eavesdroppers, surveillance drones, golems who can only recite poems, the nameless clones. It's me, your guest host, by which I mean the station's only host, but currently possessed by an unholy ghost.
A lot longer.
Goodness only knows. Now,
Yeah.
moving on, the Dangergrove School Board has recently crossed the Rubicon and asked me to announce that due to budget cuts, the school band is just standing there with no music, and I won't do it. The mayor's race was canceled due to too many challengers. That's on the community calendar. Sunday has been called for rain. Tuesday is standing in. Monday will be usual, but Wednesday has a thing, so Thursday goes where Tuesday was, then Wednesday, then the rest is normal. Second
this
Thursday
was-
still is when the high school holds their semi-formal. Friday is a heavy, nearly casual, but not quite. On Saturday, of course, every dog dies, so make arrangements. Today,
Yeah.
traffic, cars are fake. Bicycles are little white lies, and the bus is late. Keep clear of the highway.
Right.
Follow road, the usual path. Stick to blood tunnels, cloud ferry, and sewer rafts. Sure. Google your Uber rap, but that's all due to hackers that were trapped in that. Congestion is light. Thank heavens for small kindnesses, and what little remains is in your
Once I knew
sinuses.
what it was about, I could tell what they were doing. Set up, intro,
Doesn't
outro,
exist.
commercial,
A society that
song.
denies its
Yeah.
own existence while conferring special privileges to its members at the expense of everyone
I thought there was
else?
so much attention to
Well, that's just
detail.
white
I thought
people.
there was time taken.
The Illuminati is a name white people made up for even whiter
Sure.
white people. This message is brought to you by Freemasons. Listeners, my intern just handed me the station's getting lots of angry phone calls, and I quote because of when I said the dogs were going to die, I misspoke. On Saturday, the dogs in town all dye their furry coats. Sorry for the worry, folks. In the next segment, I miscommunicated. Like a text segment, the dogs will all DYE.
Yeah.
Reassure your children. Side note, the dye is toxic.
No, I get you. But in terms of us having very different scores for this track, I'm gonna make a quick point in that you get to grade Jesse, and I get to grade the production. So if there's a difference in our scores, that's probably why. I'm gonna make a statement. I have a couple of very savage quotes this time around. We'll get to them as we go through. And so my savage quote on this track is, if you had told me that they used the exact same instruments, samples, and mixing presets as their round 1 track, I would have believed you. Like, I literally can just imagine them going into the project file for the round 1 song, deleting all the notes, and then just writing another song, like, with the same everything. not doing anything different from round one. Do you remember they had like that, it was like the banjolele, yeah, yep. I like that song too. The thing is, like, this doesn't, it hits all the same, it does all the same things, but worse, like, from a mixing standpoint. Yeah, yep.
Good night, Dangergrove. Good night. Welcome to Dangergrove. 2 words is a production of Dangergrove.
Yeah.
It's written by Jesse Dangergrove
Well,
and produced by Eli.
yeah, I actually didn't dock the vocal mixing quite so much. I appreciated it for what it was, and I thought Jesse's vocals were clear enough to understand that it didn't diminish my listening pleasure. And the thing too, like with a lot of these tracks, is like Jesse carries these so hard, right? Like they make all these tracks completely about Jesse, and it works so well for them, right? Like it feels bad to dock these, but I feel like a lot of the instrumentals are like functional or just very bare bones and kind of like let Jesse do the legwork. Minimalistic is a word that I like to use a lot, but that's not entirely true. Like, there's a lot of attention to detail put into these tracks as well, but the instrumentals don't try and carry anything. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's very hard to remember the instrumental to this song at all. It feels like the track. I put that the track lacked direction. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I just, the instrumental lacked direction.
Your guest host, by which I mean the station's only host, currently possessed by an unholy ghost. What it wants, goodness only knows. Now, moving on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I really like what this team is doing. I just, it's very hard to give them high marks on the instrumental, like, component of these, is what I'm gonna say. Like, some of the previous rounds have been a lot stronger. This round, not so much. I think this is the weakest instrumental that they've put in so far. But those are my 2 cents. Like, I really enjoy them. It's just very hard for me to call this like a top-tier instrumental for what they're doing.
Today's traffic, cars are fake. Bicycles are little white lies and the bus is late. Keep clear of the highways, the low road, the usual plastic, the blood tunnels, cloud ferry, and sewer rats, sure. Google Maps will open your Uber app.
Alright, so I will say this is where it flips, in that the beat on this song is so much better than the raps, I think. The fact that the rap is so prominent and poorly mixed kind of does ruin it for me. I really, really wish that the rapper had a better mic and was able to be mixed better into the track. And here, alright, yeah, so about that Xbox headset. I wish the drums in this had been given a lot more love. I wish that the track was recorded better. I wish a lot of things. It feels like the track was basically just thrown together without a lot of work put into it. Pennyworth. I'm the main man of the Batman and the baller playboy known as Bruce Wayne, the eye of the hurricane. Alfred, Thaddeus Crane. Pennyworth, Alfred, Thaddeus Crane. I would believe you. Pennyworth, Alfred, Thaddeus Crane. Pennyworth, I've been a superhero. Check my resume. Yeah, I had to say too. I was like, I felt like the sample was well chosen, but everything else. Yep. And then everything else was just bad. I was like, okay. I'm cleaning up Damian Wayne's room, making batarangs, making sure the utility belt is loaded, making dinner for a dick named Grayson, and retailoring all of Jason's shit for Tim Drake. I was James Bond before the James Bond wanker. Been doing super cool spy shit in the Tom Ford 3-piece, the most dangerous butler to hold cutlery.
Mr. Belvedere and Remington still
Yep.
could not fuck with me. I seen Diana Prince let Bruce play Trojan. I seen Selena Kyle give Bruce the killer
Sure.
pussy. I seen Talia Al Ghul slip
Yeah.
Bruce a Mickey.
Hey.
And to keep my mouth shut.
Hey,
Talia
hey, 117.
gave my dick
It sounds like this track lacks cohesion.
Thaddeus Crane, Pennyworth, Alfred, Thaddeus Crane, Pennyworth,
Hey.
Thaddeus Crane.
There we go.
If I've been the superhero,
I was like, it was
check my resume.
a great sample.
Yeah, love this.
Alfred, Thaddeus
Yeah.
Crane, Pennyworth,
Uh,
Alfred,
probably.
Thaddeus Crane, Pennyworth, Alfred, Thaddeus Crane, Pennyworth. I've been the superhero.
I honestly
check my
don't
resume.
remember the scores that I've given
I'm
them
rocking
previously. I
Stacey
should probably
Adams
double
in the
check,
trucks
but
and the
it feels like it was
I'm
kind of
still
high up
ready
there.
to give your ass
I,
the flux, so don't even
yeah.
try it for my British
I'll agree with you.
service. I get hot, retired international killer. Nowadays I'm a servant. It's in my DNA to be serving. I got down with Tommy Wayne for service. I was down with Tommy Wayne for certain. Until
Yep.
Joe Chill put a bullet into Tommy Wayne person. When Tommy Wayne died,
Yep.
I was hurting.
No, I
But
agree
that
with you.
Get my new son. Purpose.
outside of that, I wasn't- I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, you know?
Chuck Norris on
and
his worst day. Wax on, wax off on the Batmobile.
Sure.
I'm Alfred, Thaddeus Crane,
Yeah.
Pennyworth. I'm the
That's
main man.
probably a
of
good
Batman
description.
and
Why don't
the
we jump ahead
Batman
to Moans and
Queen,
D-Bang
the
with
Hurricane.
Space.
Daddy.
I'll let you start on that one.
I like
Okay.
somebody who's down, somebody who's kind of cool. And then you get to the chorus. I just want to say, there's no competition.
I learned I can rhyme from them niggas who was doing petty crime trying to get it up. And they
Can I
just wanted to
pause
prove
for
it
just
so that
one
they can live it
second?
up. And
Because
I
the
was still
first line I wrote in my review was, "Have fun talking about the lyrics on this one, 117." It's just stop right there. That is a perfect time for my chat to lag out too. I'll take it.
You that you a Urkel, so you talk about what you know. Talk about that nerdy flow. Talk about that Kamehameha wave up in the show. And now you out here feeling like a star. Yeah, that pretty girl might know who you are.
Right.
And since you feeling like the shit, you wanna drop some social commentary in this bitch. A saying ain't nothing but a space nigga. Get big by a white guy who thinks that he can say nigga. Ain't about race, nigga. It's about space, nigga. Get up on my face.
Fair enough,
Your ass
yeah.
a space nigga. Saying ain't nothing but a space nigga. Get explained to me by a white guy.
Come on, just have it. I could just have this blaring in Atlanta traffic, dude. It'd be great. Like. Yeah. Yep.
They like, oh, you a conscious cat. You probably got these books up in that backpack. But it's just pictures of Vegeta and that Asian girl who sits in front of you in Miss Juanita's 5th period honors biology. The only minorities that you will see in each other's weighted honors classes. But she lives in the Flyers and you live where the kids from the Flyers come to buy the
That's-
grasses. So you keep it moving and you stay behind the headphones and the glasses.
Yeah, that's a really fair critique. I didn't I haven't been looking at the challenge too much. I've just been sort of grading these on the instrumental this time around. So that's a really fair line of thought. I wonder if it'll be disqualified on those grounds. I haven't seen any scores posted or seen sort of what.
Space nigga, get up out my face before I send your ass to space nigga. Saying ain't nothing but a space nigga. Get explained to me.
I thought they've had 2 disqualifications so far on that ground. Yeah, so I'll be surprised to see sort of if this is disqualified or, you know, if anybody took the time to read the lyrics. So, we'll see. So I said I kind of like the beat on this, but I wish that Moans would. I think the instrumental needed to be a little bit louder. So a lot of the synths that are in this song feel like they have no connection to the song whatsoever. Oh, look, here's that word again. We're lacking cohesion. And I was like, it feels like they just kind of threw some random instruments. You threw over like, so there's this bass riff, right, in the song. It's really good, right? It's got, I think it's like the horns, it's got like the drums, and and then there's like random shit just like sprinkled on top for like, you know, 3.5 minutes. And some of it works and some of it doesn't, and it just changes up all the time anyways. I was gonna say that the mix was actually pretty solid, so it's not a mixing issue at all. Even the low end, yeah, it was just like, yeah, or a soundscape issue, I guess, right? Like it was a choice of instruments kind of thing. In that it felt like I just probably this is the it's the opposite of Jesse Dangerously's problem, right? It's instead of too minimalist, it's like we're too on the other side of that spectrum, right? It's yeah, too much shit that's just kind of in there without purpose and doesn't really do anything for the track. If you listen to this, like, listen to this again, and then, like, question how many of these instruments are in there that don't really do anything for what the song's trying to do. And they don't, because they don't add, it's a two-sided coin, right? Like, you have cohesion, but then direction. I know, right? You know, or a trick coin. But, I mean, so, the idea, right, is everything that's in the mix should help it go somewhere it's trying to go. And this track doesn't really go anywhere, but it has a bunch of stuff that's just thrown in randomly anyways. So, there's no direction. But yeah, we can jump into the next track, and I'll let you talk about that one. LexicOhm's log date.
Token minority oddity.
Yep.
For me. I know ain't nothing life is free and that includes popularity. So I keep my power level hitting just so I can stay up out their social scene. I say
So I add one thing. First of all, I love that we got a song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Secondly, I survived but Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know if you're a Steven Universe fan.
Oh, I am. Yeah.
So part of that is she keeps on the show. And so this song was done at the third album. Now I didn't think that this concept was particularly like, I don't think it was super visionary or interesting. Basically just retelling the history of but it is a character.
Yeah. Agreed.
I like how the beat is, the bass levels talks a bit. Really the word verse.
Uh-huh.
Like that's the word, it's always tough. Most of the rhymes have been done with that.
Sure.
It's always, it's not a little challenging, but it does sound unsophisticated. I wanted to say something that I appreciated in this song, is that last time I mentioned switching up the back.
Yeah. Could be. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I like it.
Sure. Yeah, okay. Right. No, I agree. I mentioned that I thought it was mixed well, but again, like you said, and this will go back to the second concept, it lacked direction. You mentioned there was nothing to hang your hat on, but like it was the same groove, it was very like singular, right? It just kind of like, it hit a good spot, and then it like rode in that spot for the entire track. Sure, yeah.
If you were to listen to a 10-second clip of this song, could you tell, like without the lyrics, could you tell which of the three verses it was from?
No, not at all.
That's how I feel.
Yep. Like, the track stayed the same the whole time. I mean, how are you going to differentiate? Like, and the thing too, right, is with Lex's delivery each time, we've mentioned she's very good about like enunciating or like writing, articulating. That's the word I wanted to go for. Like she rides the beat so well, and I thought it was perfectly done from her. But because the track didn't go anywhere, she just kind of sat in place and spun her wheels for like 3 minutes, you know? And yeah. Yeah, the irony is there. And especially too, looking at the other instrumentals that they've done, this is like the least involved. It doesn't feel like it goes anywhere, and it's weird because there's a lot to like here. I love the choice of Steven Universe. I love the groove isn't bad. The mixing is good. Sure. I'm gonna just agree with that like 100%. There's so much that's right here. It's just this track lacked direction and didn't go anywhere. We know they can do better. Just 100%. So I'm gonna call that. And why don't you talk to me about Black to the Future?
Maybe next. So what I wrote was I like self. I guess this is just around that's fine. Around the open second. I wasn't 100% okay. Sound was necessary.
Hey, white girl, I'm with this Black to the Future. Don't act surprised, I'm talking to you, girl. Hop in my ride, it's so fresh and so clean. 88 miles an hour, and we'll be producing. Let's go on a journey to it. You and me, girl, we'll travel inside. It's a lot of power to use what we got. How much? 1.21 megawatts. Repping Hill Valley, always having a ball. Usually hitting up chicks at the Twin Pines. One day I'm exploring near the Clayton Ravine. I found a beat up. It's a time machine. It's got dials and knobs and a destination time. And since that ain't a timer, yo, I bet you I'm right. My new DeLorean, that sucker looks fast. But first, I gotta go get some gas. There's no manual, but shit. Look, I learned how time machines work in an e-book and put my destination on the keyboard check. August 8th, 1986. Hit the gas, driving fast.
And technically in this round, she didn't even get text.
I saw some serious shit. I spent a day in the past, knocking up white chicks. Thinking back to 2017, August the 6th. Hey, white girl, I'm with this Black to the Future. Don't act surprised, I'm talking to you, girl. Hop in my ride, it's so fresh and so big. Just the time down, and when people do see it takes a lot of power to use what we
I actually really like the beat as well. It's a very functional beat. It's very groovable, and their sample selection was broad enough to where it actually feels like the track has a direction. Like if you just take a 5-second clip and loop it for 3 minutes, like you're gonna drive some people insane. Right? But this didn't do that. It felt like it kind of was going somewhere. I like the chord progression in this. Like it was a good choice choice of sampling, and their source material helped them a lot in this track, I have to say. It was a good choice for the source. That's worth a lot, right? Like, knowing how to play to your strengths, and they did it, and I have to give them credit for it. In other news, though, Jalamus is still Jalamus, he gets a Jalamus out of 5. Now for one of the more, I guess, controversial, I don't know, for me, conflicted might be the better word, but why don't we talk about Penzel Automatons with The Offer?
Okay, first, I gotta get this out of the way. Are we seriously doing the Solomon Grundy push now? Is this a thing that you're doing?
That's the way it is, and the way you want it.
I would hope we...
One you can navigate with compromise. The other you have to throw your life at with no promise of affecting even the smallest change.
Let it be noted.
So I ask,
So I guess this
will
was,
you hear my offer?
the IP for this was a comic book.
Okay.
It feels like quicksand. I see an easy way out, though I'm not a rich man. Could go to scared, but I won't admit that. I won't give you my freedom. I don't care what I might get back. I will not take the offer. 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 I will not. I've seen you corrupt so many around me.
Yes, I agree with that completely.
You said take the offer and thrive. Deny my offer and die. Tell me, how can I possibly hide when there's honestly nothing you can't see? Data piper come run, I'ma face my fate. You involved, brought a bullet, finna pull it, and my aim is dead on.
Sure.
The world been ugly since you took it, but I think I found you. You can't look in, so I'm plotting on you. Hope that all the assume is going rotten on you. Hope that you know everywhere you go that I'll be right behind you. Fuck your pretty words, it's really actions that define you. Swear on my father's life, there gonna be action when I find you. Stand here with my nails and my hammer and my will to survive by any means, any manner. I knew this would be my last ride, so I do it for
I will add to this as well, too, because I think he brings like a level of emotiveness to the track that always plays quite well for what he's doing.
I see an easy way out, though I'm not a rich man.
Sure.
Could go the distance, scared, but I won't admit that. I won't give you my freedom, I don't care what I might get back. I will not take the offer.
Yeah.
I will not take the offer.
Yep.
I will not take the offer. I will not. And whispers are all that we bump now. Goblins all live in the swamp now. And any I've seen stand tall to your offer are sitting in shallow grave slump down. It isn't unfounded to run now, but I've come too long a path. If I have it my way, you'll be gunned down before you can even ask. Be about it, I decided if I came, I wasn't gonna falter. Sacrifice 100,000
can
I got a hammer out the holster.
Yes, but can I make a segued comment that does relate? I thought this was the weakest Penzel Automatons hook, or that's been in the VPC so far. I didn't find this hook engaging whatsoever. The I will not take the offer, and repeating that so much, it felt grating to me. So I wanted to kind of pick your brain, get your thoughts on that. Fair enough.
It feels like quicksand.
Yeah.
I see an easy, though I'm not a rich man. Could go the distance, scared, but I won't admit that. I won't freedom, I don't care what I might get back. I will not take the offer. 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 I will not.
Yeah, I don't think. I think probably it was their. It's weird because it's like structurally it's their weakest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you remember it, is that like better than a better structured book that you don't take?
Well, there are a number of Jalamus songs I can remember.
One you can navigate with confidence.
Yeah.
The other you have
Yeah, in terms of the mix, I feel like Sean Solo overcompressed the bass on this one, and then pumped the volume so much that we actually had some clipping in a few places. You get this like pseudo clipping effect if you overcompress on the bass line. I was gonna say I was pretty sure this song is about getting harassed by telemarketers. I was gonna give extra points too for talking about directionality. Sean Solo was good about adding in elements each new verse. Something else kind of gets thrown in that helps kind of build the track up as you go. And they're very good about their transitions, like their song structure. Again, you mentioned this as well. I also wanted to kind of give them points for just how well they build their tracks up. You know, it manages to keep the track constantly fresh in your head. Like, it never feels grating at any point in the instrumental. The only real complaint that I had on this one is that I felt like the mixing on the bass could have been a little bit better, but outside of that, I was pretty much a fan of everything in the instrumental on this one.
Fuck your pretty words, it's really actions that define you. Swear on my father's life, there gonna be action when I find you. I stand here with my nails and my hammer and my will to survive by any
Jump into Penzel, Washington, and Danny DeBeato, and I can go ahead and take the start on this one. I really did. This was probably one of my favorite instrumentals in the round, just for how like head nodding this was. Like, this comes on and you're just like in the zone for this track, right? Like, tell me this isn't the perfect groove for the start of this round. Like, yeah, no, I would totally agree with that. I loved this track too. The thing was, I do feel like this is one of those mixes that lacked directionality, in that it didn't really build it too much or kind of go anywhere I wanted it to. I imagine this, right? Imagine the same track, but then say a breakdown 2/3 of the way through, maybe into some kind of like solo or something that kind of flipped it a little bit and just went in a totally different direction for say 30-40 seconds, and then came back into this groove. Like, that would be such a stronger track. I would too. I'm like, I feel like you can't ride for how amazing of a groove this was, and by the way, mixed perfectly. Like, to a T, this was mixed fantastically. I really wish it kind of aimed for a little more, or did a little bit more with the time that it had. But that's in terms of like the instrumental particularly. Honestly, I think it was one of my favorite instrumentals of the round, just for how much it kind of like grabs your attention from like the immediate get-go on this. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Eject you out of your spot, oversleep. The spot brought the hood was peak. I work as a waiter, it seems so mean. Suggest to a customer, eat some greens. Lost a lot of revenue, tried telling grandpa, never got the message to. And money. Yeah, he stressed it, told grandpa it's not a good investment. The
Yep. Good show. I'm gonna disagree. I think there's a better track immediately after this that might have a better sampled hook. Okay. Yeah. She's overweight and want a bra. A wife of one. Yep. Was a fiend for it all. Shoots up again. Went to court. We got shut. Grandpa sad like what now? Stop crying, Grandpa. A front with embellishments. You're probably right. Yeah.
chorus and finish it, but they went to a third verse, and it just felt totally unnecessary. It didn't feel necessary for the story, and it didn't feel necessary for
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got, man. But yeah, liked the song. Dug it.
For sure.
And I want to say, again, absolutely my favorite track in this group so far.
I agree as well. Yep. That didn't really kind of grab me as I was going through it, but in retrospect, I think I could agree with that. We'll jump ahead to Pretty Good with Buy a Thread.
What are you sipping on?
Right now, I'm doing a Ballast Point with the Mango Even Keel, but there are two other beers that I've been drinking tonight, both of which are homebrew. One, this is called... Oh yeah, I was big into it. This is a Rogue Conquest was the first beer. It was my, it was an Imperial Chocolate Stout that I actually, I was given the grains by the head brewmaster out at Conquest Brewery, and then finished it with the yeast and hops of the Rogue Dead Guy Chocolate Stout, and used that to make an Imperial Chocolate Stout. Came in at 8.5%, but now I'm ranting about my beer instead of tracks, so nice. Hell yeah. There is one other that I'm about to crack into here in just a second. This is the sister beer of the Rogue Conquest Chocolate Stout. This is a cherry chocolate stout, made from the same grain, but this one comes in at 4.5% ABV, but it has a cherry extract in it as well, so it's like half the strength, and then cherries on it. It's like the perfect finish for the night. But we've still got a little bit to go before I get there, so... Oh, yes. Come here, Callie. We can have Doge break really quick, and beer break. Come here, get up here. Come here, girl. Get up here. Good dog. Oh. This is the dog. This is the dog right here. Believe it or not, she's named for a character from League of Legends. Callista. One of my favorites. And then I just call her Callie for short. But, alright, so now I have a dog in my lap. That's cool. Yes, so I have to start this with a disclaimer, which is that I haven't seen, the anime. Yeah. I've heard fantastic things. I just haven't put the time into it to get into it. But man, like, and you know it's like that anime opening song. I have no idea, I'm just assuming that's... Okay. Oh, totally Japanese, come on, like... And, yeah, I was just like, this is killing me. It's like, the melody and, like, the piano on this, like, everything just knocked it out of the park for me. And I don't know if this is personal preference, but, like... So one, this is a very strong instrumental, like, just in general, right? And then I think the use of the anime theme song on this, plus the piano melody, like, everything was just, like, perfectly geared, right? I was so happy. It was right after I said the Luther was, like, my favorite track of the round, then this comes on right after. And I was so happy with this. Again, like, mixed perfectly. Cloth and Pop usually very good for that. And then I just felt like the choice of material here was so fantastic. Love the melody, love the use of the sampled vocals. I do have one very savage line here, and I'm like, it's going to make me a giant asshole for even saying this line. And it's gonna segue perfectly into your part. Alright, I'm just gonna, like, say this and drop the mic and walk away. This track would have been better without Shubzilla on it. And I'm just, like, done.
Right. So, I like the...
Yeah. The instrumental was fantastic. Eh? Second, yep.
It's up to alone to make this wrong to right. The shackle of couture and tyranny combined. That tower that you're hiding in won't stand the night.
Thank you. It's almost like it lacked cohesion.
Oppressing population, pigs in clothing, stop your gloating, bitch. What you gonna do when the fab's to bits? We all hang by a threat of domination near. I'ma slice your squad dead, finding me so cavalier. So, spin your scheming round. You minor league and I am major wager.
Oh, I totally can. I'm not even gonna let you take like, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, I actually, looking back at my notes, I wanted to add something because it fits into what you just said a little bit ago. I said Shubs' delivery kind of feels off or disconnected to the beat. It felt like she was kind of doing her thing and then Cloth did his thing. Sure. Yeah, just it didn't feel connected. Sure. Yeah. And the funniest part to me is that I gave this track a nearly perfect score, but it's because I'm judging it solely on the instrumental. And that just, the irony isn't lost on me there either. Sure. Okay. Yeah. Yep.
In this tale, I'ma tell you how the villain started. Back when the Baxter building was new and uncharted. Fantastic Four saved the universe and Secret Wars randomly just departed. See, this was back before the age of Ultron. Back before even the Infinity Gauntlet was worked on. Back before the Mandarin found his rings. Way back before Warren Worthington got his wings. Check it. The villain was named by mothers by the press. Yes, I confess. Weird, I guess, no stress. I thought it was fine like wine or a nice dress. Way before I got the powers that I now possess. With the family, Johnny Stone parading and making fools out of each other while Mr. Fantastic Cynthia, who was Dr. Doom's legitimate mother, telling us scientific theories and theses and other things like oh brother. But it was fine, we were chilling, talking about traveling to the universe and singing never seen before. So we got a grant from the government, a couple $1 million and some spaces for when we go out to explore. For sure, we were ready for the space trip. I tried to hide my excitement and not let it slip, but Victor Von Doom saw my expression and noticed I was grinning, so he told me like he knew something bad was gonna happen. I could swear I saw the bastard walk slow and kinda laughing. Before I knew it, the lights in the shuttle started flashing and we were gone. I was gasping, looked around the cockpit and noticed that we were missing two people.
I hear you really love the Solomon Grundy effect, is what I'm getting from this.
Got the protection, we were hit by the cosmic rays in space, where it felt like we were at for days. We came crashing down from the cosmos real fast. Till today, I still don't know how we made it back before the blast. The crash gave us superpowers, and all of that was blessings from the cosmic showers. Powers to stretch long, while Mr. Benjamin Grimm got the powers to become strong. Johnny Stone became the human torch, which gave him the urge to balls at a random church. Susan Storm got the invisibility ability, while I got the powers of a rapper without the imagery. See, I was mad at Victor, the doctor, wanted us dead, so I done the master, make him feel some dread.
No, I agree in terms of the improvement. And I think I'm going to say a few things here that kind of underscore some points that you were making. I said this beat just feels faster than it needs to be. I was saying, like, imagine the same track but slowed down by like 5 or 10 BPM. Did you? Alright. Okay.
But to celebrate what?
Yeah. And so that might just be the conflict in you and I grading things, in that I think the instrumental would do better slowed down, but you might have a very good point about what it would do for the vocal delivery. And that's actually a point that I hadn't thought about. So, I agreed. You mentioned it felt exhausting or, sort of breakneck. And I mentioned that it was one, faster than I thought it needed to be, but it just felt more chaotic than it needed to be as well, just with how much was going on in like the sample, with the drums going on. Sure, I could totally hear that, yeah. I felt, I said cohesion, but it's not a cohesion issue, right? Like, everything in this track fits. It's a mixing issue, is what this track suffers from, is, everything just feels a little too crowded. There's kind of like a lack of clarity. And I'm totally just gonna sneeze in the middle of this review, but it's cool. I also felt like the track sort of meandered. Like you had a good sample, and then it just kind of like spun its wheels for a little bit, and then it was done. Right? There was a little bit of a lack of directionality. You liked the scratches at the end, and I hear you on that one. That was a good touch, right? But I didn't feel like the track sort of grew throughout the verses, or did anything, and just kind of like set its piece and then was out. But it was short enough to where that wasn't necessarily a detriment either. Like, it was a very functional piece, so... Yeah. I think that does it for me. And I'll let you go ahead and intro the next track, which is the SWA or SWAP, and then Deadpool kills the VPC with Chimichangas.
Right, this is an IP that I was familiar with. There's a comic
as well.
Mini-series where Deadpool kills...
Fine! I only have 12 bullets, so you're gonna have to share!
Yep. I've also read the comic. I'm a huge fan of that one. Yes. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. And it fit perfectly for rave, by the way. This was like a really good song choice or track. What am I after? Sorry, like a good fandom for him. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, what a chorus. Phoenix flash
sure.
Ish one, truck the whip. Off the bridge, let's take a dip. I can take your wrist. Headline says Brush Creek accident. I'm like Jesse D if he was dangerous. Syrup heist gets printed him. It's ninja sit. I'm sailing in. Bang bang. Sail fin. You can hook him up. But the doctors know they ain't saving shit. Yeah, I'm a fiender. Who am I? Got no idea. Sell sword.
Yeah.
And I'm at your league. Work with the mouth on the mic. Spitting words in your dad in your leg. Drop bombs and shit in Washington.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sucking out that oxygen from a rocket
yeah.
With rotten. Beefing up to pop a clip. Shot to the head. Make it quick. Defoliate that grove. Agent door and soul. I'm popping off like Papa Don with a solo dies for the polo tie. It's a Texas way to say goodbye.
Yes.
Tight, say goodnight. Bloody eyeballs out of sight. Like the salsa and some sour cream. I get two combo platters, double fisted, make a scene. Fuck up the Taco Bell. They'll never get it
Yeah, absolutely. As for my side of it, I had to say this is the most forgettable instrumental of the round. Yeah, and it's funny too because I had to mention, I was saying this is Rafe's strongest entry. I think we've said that probably 3 or 4 times for different teams at this point. Yeah, good song choice from Rafe, good fandom choice, good execution from him. Everything kind of fit, right? It was one of his best. But as far as the instrumental, like you said, it didn't feel connected, but it just it didn't do anything. I said that I just wasn't feeling it. I feel like the mixing might be better by a bit. Say that again? Right, yeah. I think the mixing has gotten better by a hair. But I was saying there's nothing engaging or distinctive about this track at all. And so I just scored it very middle of the road and kind of called it a day. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's improvement here for sure. I feel like the mixing, the instrumental, like the creation of the instrumental just needs a little bit more something, right, to make it memorable. And I could almost rant here, right? Like you have, to me, someone who's like clearly trying. The issue here isn't lack of effort. I think it's lack of experience from the instrumental side or the mixing side. And so I would like to see Schmizab as the producer on this. I would love him to just keep producing and trying to like learn new elements or sort of find a balance. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm trying to make it constructive, like I'm not doing any of this out of spite or anything. It's like I feel like there's too much to kind of cram into a 3 or 5 minute review. Yeah.
Like we actually care about people leveling up their game.
Sure.
Just not for just that.
Yeah.
I only have 12 bullets. Gonna have to share.
Load up the lip, custom grip, custom fit so the mask don't slip. Got a job to do, task is in. Do all these whack ass rappers in. Hack and slash, gets a hack and slash. It's a cruise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Duck and dash, shot duck and dash, y'all standing still. Drop poison gas on VPC5. Ask go straight to jail. I gun you down, go straight to hell. I crush that skill on.
I would say keep going and just start listening to like the other tracks and like picking out things that you think are executed well and sort of trying to break down how those things were done, and you can sort of use that to grow, and I think that's probably good advice. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's generally good advice for anybody with any skill set is, find somebody who's more experienced than you and sort of start copying them and figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. Yep. For sure. Yeah. And on that note, I guess that brings us to our last track of the evening, which will be Team ROBOKRUNK with Town.
Okay, so I'm not judging production.
Yeah.
It's good, because I believe ethically, ROBOKRUNK
Dash.
He's got the
They want information I cannot give, but detectives demand it.
Sure.
If I slice open his throat, then will they say that my hand did it? Just try my patience, because me does not always report to management.
It's got everything.
I wouldn't blame you, was unstable, I was too timid. You could run, pulled up on me in the back alley. You could laugh at me, then punch my face, and then my backhand could probably crush your cranium. Cooperated with the advanced creature. I just space, but I can't fathom what they all came from. But I'm down to learn. Interested, at least I'd rather not be and that seems sinister. Talk to me about solutions that we could administer before this threat can take us all down. I'll do it for the town. 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 I said I'll do it for the town. There is everywhere. Lots of heads, I'm kinda scared. Symbiotic dealings and our plight is rare. Caught in here, need to warn the family, make sure that her mama's fed. Nothing's clear. What is it that mama said? Blood is shed. I didn't know that mama's dead.
Yeah.
Get a grip of my body's up and bleeding. I don't need another piece of life. Even keep me breathing. Get the begin in a vein where it's because we have to be.
I think possibly the best, actually, but yeah.
My reflex is just elevated. My whole demeanor's more meditated. More I wasn't playing, I'm down to learn. I am interested, at least I'd rather not be killed by something that seems sinister. Talk to me about solutions that we could administer before this threat can take us all down. I'll do it for the town.
Yeah, and if you told me... Yeah, I agree. Very well timed, very quick to the point, doesn't overstay, doesn't shoot for anything more than it needs to be. If you told me the song didn't have a fandom, I'd believe you. It's just an enjoyable track to me. I'm not familiar with what it's after. For sure. Yeah. My one thing is there are these bells in the mix, and they sit like way up in the high end, and they get a little bit grating to me at times. I think those bells kind of muddy up parts of the mix that they shouldn't. And this is an EQ thing. It's Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we? We forgot a phrase.
We forgot a phrase. Specifically, we forgot a phrase that ends.
You know, you could be right. And so why don't we rewind to the last track and look particularly at the title. Yeah. There we go. If you're a Deadpool fan, you should probably mark down Chimichangas as the phrase that pays for this week. Hats off to Rafe and Schmizette for giving us the phrase. I will drink to y'all. Yes, sir. I wish there was another sort of melodic piece in there to kind of give it a little bit more direction. But other than that, it was a very strong instrumental, mixed incredibly well. I almost would echo what you said about RoboRob not being able to do wrong, but minor gripes, right? Like philosophical differences, we'll call them. I felt like that bell probably needed to be EQ'd a little bit differently. I felt like it wasn't strong enough to end the song on just kind of repeating a little bit of that bell. It felt almost cliched to me. Outside of that, everything else was mixed very well. The low end was very tight, nicely done. Nothing less than I would expect, you know. Generally a very strong track. Probably would be in first place right now. But, you know, very enjoyable track. Very strong entry. So, why don't we agree? Yep. Yeah. I'm probably a little more, if I like something, I'm usually pretty quick to say it. Yeah.
But I can do it for the town. Highest scores so far in the competition in this round.
Awesome.
And they were, just to do a quick recap.
Mm-hmm.
Dangergrove. Holy cow. Man, that song, like, if you had told, as I was listening to it for the first time, if I had come back to the YouTube and told me this would be your favorite song in the round, I would not have believed it.
Yeah.
I cannot handle it. They want information I cannot give, but detectives demanded it. If I slice open his throat, then will they let me go if I say that my hand did it? Don't try my patience, cause Miggy does not always report to management. You can call all this insanity. I wouldn't blame you, was unstable. I was too timid. You could run the table, but if you pulled up on me in the back, laugh at me, then punch my face, and then my backhand could probably crush your cranium. That's what cooperated with the advanced creature. I just can't fathom where they all came from, but I'm down to learn.
Yeah.
I am interested, at least I'd rather not be killed by something that seems sinister.
For sure. And actually, on that note, I'm gonna do a sort really quick. Yeah. All right, there we go. So now we've got it sorted by rank from highest to lowest. Really surprising. Yeah. And I want to point out too that they didn't just, get 5s from both of us. They actually had 3 point, whatever from both of us. But it was the fact that they were consistently strong in both production and, yeah. Not even the best, they were just consistently strong in both halves. And I think that's worth stating. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree, and at the same time, I'm kind of looking at one of the bigger surprises for me in a negative light is sort of where LexicOhm ended up this time around, and at 4th from the bottom.
Yeah, it's like 4th from the bottom. It's like it's not even Dash.
No. I agree. There were a lot of memorable tracks, and I don't think they did enough to kind of stand out this time around. But at the same time, they're still one of my favorite teams to kind of keep my eyes on. So it... Oh, agreed. Yeah. Speaking of, I'll switch tabs over to that total. We've been sort of tracking from start to finish all the teams. I'm going to get rid of myself here. But, let me, yeah, I think I've got to sort this one out, actually. One. Yeah. There we go. Huh. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Definitely still anybody's game. I think it's interesting to see sort of just how easy it is to kind of compete at this point. Yeah. Yeah, myself as well. A lot of very strong entries. I'm really happy with the products that have come out so far. For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
This VPC kind of gave me a snapshot of a bunch of people, and I was like, wow, every round I keep loving this guy's stuff. Who is he? What's he about? What's he done?
I will actually say I've listened to a good bit of Jesse Dangerously, and I've oddly enjoyed the stuff from the VPC probably more so than a lot of his other material, which isn't entirely fair to say, but I've been very impressed. You know.
You can call all this insanity. I wouldn't blame you. Was unstable. I was too timid. You could run the table if you pulled up on me in a back alley.
Anybody ever.
That's what cooperated with the advanced creature. I just what they all came from, but I'm down to learn.
I agree.
I am interested, at least I'd rather.
Well, 117, man, I appreciate your time. I'm gonna down my last bit of beer here as well, and you as well, man. We'll get this up on the YouTube shortly, and I'll see you around, man.